Hi, Paul here. We're all unbelievably busy these days. We have so much stuff to do with work, we have so much stuff to do with our families. Life seems to be more frenetic than I can ever remember it. And so we don't get much time for reflection and for kind of, self-analysis. And I was thinking about this last week, and I was thinking about what are my goals, something I haven't really thought about for ages. What do I want to try and achieve? What am I doing? I'm getting older, I'm 52 years old. And so I sat down and I started thinking about this. And I split it up into five different sections. And I guess I've kind of turned this into a video to introduce some level of accountability. For example, I put a post up at the beginning of lockdown in 2020, a picture of a piano piece that I've been meaning to learn for years and years and years by Ravel. And needless to say, I still can't play it. So I thought, why don't I try and introduce a little bit of accountability to myself and actually write all this stuff down so that I can then see, in a month's time, in a couple of months' time, I can look back and see, okay, what am I doing? What have I done each week to try and advance these different things? So the five sections are creativity. I want to get better. I want to learn more. I want to add more harmonic knowledge to my kind of toolkit. I want to learn more about orchestration. And both of those things I kind of, I sort of diverted a little bit into listening and studying lots and lots of scores and things like this. You can get it's just wonderful being able to kind of sit and dive into those and pick apart bits and see, how people do things. But again, it's quite time consuming. And I am aware that I'm not looking at the original source for a lot of this stuff. If you're looking at film and TV and game music as your kind of inspiration, I know that certainly John Powell has said to me on a number of occasions, don't look at that. Look at the original stuff, like Respighi, like, Mozart, Bruckner, whoever your kind of musical tastes align with. But look at the original stuff, the original source for a kind of purer version, because we're all standing on the shoulders of giants. And then there's my composing, which is kind of my second heading. Now, over the last sort of 5 or 6 years, I really have almost entirely been doing my composing for Spitfire. I haven't done a lot of TV work, I haven't done a lot of games work in that time, and I'd love to get back into doing more of that stuff again and finding a balance with all of my work life. But I kind of thought about this, and I thought, why do I want to do that? And the answer is that I want to enjoy the experience of having people hear my music and hopefully get some pleasure from it, but also to hear my music being played by real musicians as well. And I made my album, as you all know. So I really enjoyed the process of writing some music, pure music for myself, and not really having to think about whether, what I was doing it for. It was just simply, as long as I was happy with it, that was all that mattered. And then being able to hear some incredible musicians playing the music that I'd written, it just really kind of reignited the fire inside me. So that's the second part, is the composing element, to find a little bit more balance in my life between the kind of music technology, the creating stuff on that side, and also the actual writing music, which is the thing that kind of nourishes my soul, I think. As a musician, that's my third heading. What am I doing and where am I going as a musician? Now, I mentioned earlier that there are pieces that I've always wanted to be able to play, that I love, and that it's just about applying the time to do that and finding that time. And I play constantly, but that doesn't make you get any better. It's targeted practice. And I know this. I know that I have to find a specific, even if it's a 20-minute window 3 times a week, when I can do a set of exercises and I know exactly what I need to do to just keep building my skills as a pianist. That's always been my main instrument. But I also love the guitar. And maybe that has to wait until I retire. But I'm still at the fingerboard stage of kind of the map, trying to break out of the boxes, all that kind of stuff. I don't really know how to do that. And maybe I need a teacher, to take a few lessons and to learn. But that's something that I've always wanted to do. I was lucky to hear an incredibly talented guitarist in Barcelona last week playing flamenco. And it was just staggering. And it reignited my my love for the sound of the guitar, and I really want to do that. The other thing that I want to be able to do is I want to get a more consistent feel into my playing when I'm playing rhythmically, and not rely so heavily on just doing retaking. And as composers, we don't need to worry about our, like session musicians do, about our skill set, because we can always do another take, and the take that eventually gets heard is perfect, and we can tweak things. But that's kind of cheating, and I really want to get that. I really want to get more consistency into my playing. My fourth heading is as a music technologist with Spitfire. Music technology, something that I never really thought of myself as, to be honest. I was always just finding solutions to problems that I was coming up against as a composer, and kind of stumbled into an existence. If you've seen my previous video about my life in sampling, you'll understand the journey, but I kind of stumbled into this existence as a music technologist as such. But also, with Spitfire now, we have a team of 80 incredibly talented and lovely people who are way better, way cleverer than me, way better at doing stuff than I am. I've thought of all kinds of new ways of doing things. And that is a real joy, to be making tools for people to express their creativity and to widen the availability of good sounds to as many people as possible. So we have the core Spitfire stuff, but we've also got the Labs Plus element of kind of a simplified way of accessing these super high quality sounds, and also other really creative, interesting ideas as well, which you'll see over the next few months as things start to come out. And one of the benefits to this kind of existence as a music technologist is it's allowed me to meet and work with, collaborate with some of the artists that I've always admired. And that is continuing. We've got some fantastic collaborations coming up, and that's something that I want to continue to do more of these collaborations. And it's actually an amazing way of learning new stuff myself, because I'm picking up really interesting things that other artists want to express in their music. And that helps give me other ideas for things when I'm writing my own music. My final category of my goals is teaching. And I'm naturally quite a shy and diffident person, which is why getting myself into the situation of doing this was actually quite challenging, and still continues to be quite challenging. And luckily I can edit all of the terrible stuff out and hopefully leave something that's vaguely interesting to watch. But it's not my natural state to be standing up in front of loads of people. But having been able to go around and talk to students at colleges and at schools and younger kids about music and about film music and games and composing and music technology has given me something really interesting. And there's a Latin expression, docendo discimus. I think I'm pronouncing that right. And it's a proverb, and it means by teaching we learn. And I read that a while back, and it always stuck with me, because if I've constantly learnt stuff by teaching myself. So I've had to learn how to build a music PC, or I've had to learn how to program samples. And so now once you know how to do something, you can teach somebody else how to do it. But the interesting thing is that there's often little gaps. And when you're going to give a talk to some students, it makes you rethink everything through, because you have to find a way to explain it properly. And I was talking to my wife last week, and we were just having one of those conversations in the evening. And I just suddenly said out loud, when I retire, I'm going to do more teaching. And I almost took myself by surprise, because it was just something that came into my head. And I thought, I really, really want to do this, and find a way to do it. And I think that there's enough stuff that I know about, which I've had to learn over the years of being a professional composer, that have given me enough skills that I can pass on to people. But also, I just love to hear what students are talking about, the stuff that they're interested in, about music and music tech, and seeing what people are doing. It's really exciting to see the next generation of composers coming up and doing all kinds of incredible stuff and finding new ways of using things. And So I love that aspect of teaching, and I love. It never gets old to get a bunch of 8, 9 year old kids who are just starting their music lessons where they're learning about composing, and to play them the same clip of video. My obvious clip is a beach with the waves rolling in, and I play them that with just the sea noise, and then I play it them with Girl from Ipanema, and then I play it with Jaws, and they all laugh, and they're all like, they love it. And that idea that you can kind of introduce this idea of that music has a kind of a kind of cultural baggage that we all pick up at a really young age, and the feeling of the emotions that certain pieces of music can give you. I love all that, and I love being able to share that with people. So that's my final thing is to find a way to do more of that. And I don't know quite how I'm going to do that, but that's now on my chart of things that I'm going to be assessing myself about and keeping track of and coming back to, and see if I can develop all of these things. There's quite a lot of stuff there, but you've always got to have a target, haven't you? You've always got to have something to strive towards. Otherwise, you're not going to make. It's like attrition, isn't it? You kind of gradually, one foot in front of the other gets you to the top of the mountain eventually. Although, as a musician, I do understand that I'm never going to stop learning, so I am going to keel over eventually, and I will still be hopefully able to be learning at that stage. As musicians, you never get to the end of that journey, but it's a fun journey to be on. Anyway, thanks for listening to me waffle. See you on the next one. Bye-bye.